Hello YouTube and welcome back to Prophetic Dream Comics. If you're new to this channel, my name is Lacey A, and here on this channel I illustrate the dreams that the Lord has given me to both encourage and enlighten his children. So today I'm going to jump straight into the dream. This was a dream I had in April 24th, 2022, and a group of us was running. Apparently we was doing some type of marathon, and we was running and we got to a portion of the marathon where we ended up at a swamp, right? So we had ran and ran and ran, and we finally got to the swamp, and out of nowhere, we hear this voice that's just like, hey, you have to swim through this now. Mind you, I'm sitting here still trying to catch my breath, right? So I'm out of breath from running, and I'm, just sitting here trying to figure out what are we doing at a swamp. And then out of all of, and this dream is annoying. It's annoying, right? So this voice was the Lord. This voice was the Lord's, and he said, now you must swim to reach the next part of the journey. And everyone kind of freaked out, like this wasn't a clean swamp. Well, at least most people freaked out. There were like a few super believers, and they just jumped straight into the water, and just started swimming, no questions asked. I mean, he said it and they jumped in there. But most of us was just like, would he really tell us to go into the swamp? There are like alligators in there, alligators. But even though when everyone was panicking about the alligators, I was actually thinking about the snapping turtles. I know it's weird, right? But to me, if you research snapping turtles, they can actually eat baby alligators, and I just have a fear of them. And so, I was just like, I am scared, but you know what? If you say so, Lord, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So, knees buckling, everything trembling. I just jumped in. I jumped in, and as soon as I jumped in, a faceless man threw me a boogie board. So I started swimming with the boogie board, and as I was swimming, I kept fearing this snapping turtle because I didn't want them to snap one of my toes or my fingers off, and I kept like repeating over and over in my head, please don't snap my fingers, please don't snap my toes, please don't snap me or whatever. And I realized I was feeding into that fear. And then once I changed my mindset, a tunnel opened, and then the voice said again, swim through this tunnel. And mind you, I was actually like scared and tired, and I was just like, are you serious, Lord? Like, for real? You want me to go through this pitch black? I mean, there was no light. There was no light in there. And that was the instruction. It said, go through this tunnel, swim through this tunnel. And I swam and swam and swam. And I finally made it. I was like, am I alive? And I realized that there were other people on the journey who had already gotten there, and they were celebrating, and there was a feast, and they were eating, and just having a good time. And I saw it and I was like, oh, great food. Even though I was exhausted, I was happy. And then someone handed me a white cloak, and they said, eat up and clean up. You're going to need it for where you're about to go. So that dream right there, God's kind of telling you, it's going to be a hard time, but just go forth anyway. We have a lot of areas in our life where it seems uncertain or dark, but God is calling us to go forth anyway. Just think of Joshua after Moses had died, the leader that everyone basically respected and had known the most. He was called to cross the Jordan River, which is very muddy and was very muddy during that time, murky, not clear, to go to a land that was promised to him and his people. They had to go through something. They didn't know what was in that river. I mean, it could have been anything, and with your life, you may feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm jumping in something. I have no idea what's in there, but God called you to go forth anyway. And he encouraged you to be strong and courageous. wherever you go. He repeats this many times. He commands you to be strong and courageous. And, God wouldn't keep repeating that if, you didn't need it. Of course, there'll be the super believers who have been on a journey for a long time. So they're not really freaked out that much. But they're not freaked out when God, calls and tells them to do something or hesitate as much as, maybe me or some of you. But God still encourages us to go. He actually commands us to go. So I just want to encourage you, don't be afraid. Don't be discouraged. Go. And you never know what's on the other side of that river. You never know what's on the other side of that, burden, that, darkness, that depression, that, whatever it is that you may be struggling with, or that seems like, a battle right now. Go anyway. It's okay to hesitate, but go anyway. And don't delay too long. When God tells you to do something, go. And I know that's easier said than done, but I just want to leave you with this reminder. Luke 10 verse 19 states, "Look, I have given you authority over all the power of the enemy, and you can walk among snakes and scorpions and crush them. Nothing will injure you." So while we have to jump in them swamps and swim and we don't know what's going on, just remember that God gave us authority over the enemy, and He's with us wherever we go. So stay blessed, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Thank you for watching. Bye.